if you can't tell, Speedway Motorsports moves really fast. And part of that is, where we believe that FanThreeSixty helps is we've been partners for over a decade. And so there's a lot of feedback back and forth. So if you're not first, you're last, right? And we help you all get to first place. And Derek, why don't you comment just how the partnership kind of works?
Yeah, well, just to add on with some things that have already been said, this partnership definitely feels different, and you guys specifically differentiate yourself, as we've talked about, with how hands-on you are with us and our team. I think that's unique to find, as Nick mentioned earlier, and a specific example to talk about is your development team has taken time over the past couple years to specifically, whether it's via Zoom and jumping in or face-to-face, take the time to watch myself in our role and then our ticket agents, what their day-to-day is like. How do you use the product? What is the step-by-step? Walk me through it, talk me through it as you're going around it, to learn, again, things that we see that are, whether it be pain points that maybe need fixing or things that are working really well that you can continue to enhance. So I think part of the partnership that's been so unique is that hands-on activity that you guys have with us. I know we met in Kansas City last year to talk about some of these things in more detail and again go through that process of how are you using it, how can it be better or more beneficial to you. And we've already seen a lot of the checklist items have that check by the box that are helping efficiency. Specifically in my role as I'm distributing leads, the new bulk reassignments has helped where we can get leads done in a second to all of our ticket agents that we need to be reaching out and making those calls. So I think that's another key differentiating factor with you guys that we so appreciate.
I think too, just to kind of go off of that, is that not only do we have about 45 ticket agents throughout the country that utilize the platform, we probably have about 80, you could probably correct me with the amount of users that we have, regardless of the level of, I guess access, yeah, to Jeff's point there. But our agents are using it on the front line, data in, data out, note taking, staying on task. Task is a big one. We're going to continue to try to utilize that feature because, the days of Post-it notes and notepads, I'm a firm believer those need to go away. Let's mine that information and stay on task through that feature within FanThreeSixty for all of our agents, so that again we can close more revenue and follow up. If a fan tells us no, I want to call back here, by golly, we need to uphold that end of our commitment to the fan, and we can stay on task through tasks. But at the same time, our marketing leads are using it in a different way, right? And then Jeff can look at it. Our ticket operations, consumer operations is using it at a very high level as well to help facilitate program creation that then we're allowed to use on the day-to-day. Where I'm getting at is that it's a very user-friendly platform too. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and you guys know me.
Well, Nick, you can hit on this one too. I mean, we were struggling with texting because all the data, we couldn't see the touch points, we couldn't do the things Derek was talking about. The agent didn't necessarily know if that account had received a text. We had the metrics over here, and you guys came back to us with a solution that works great for us and solved a lot of problems. So that was a big win, and then the innovation in the email platform that you guys are bringing forward, on top of constantly approaching us about new ways to use the app. And all of that data living in that sphere of FanThreeSixty is a wonderful place for it to be, on top of all the notes and everything else. So it really is a hub for us.
I mean, tie it all in together. I mean, between app pushes, email, text, how we utilize it we're kind of a call first culture, first and foremost, but there's so many new avenues of outreach that fans are more likely to respond to. It's all in one, and we really appreciate that. It's very easy to use.
So along with text messaging, so I know you guys use our one-to-one texting, and I think Derek has a really good story about you know, how that's improved and how that's made their life a little bit easier. Because, you know, when you call people during the day, they might not answer the phone.
Absolutely, right? We know we're all sitting here. You get a text in a meeting, you might be able to text back real quick, but you're not answering a phone call. So, to the point, we need to be more strategic and be different in our outreach. So, texting's been a huge win for us, as you both mentioned, and getting responses back. I think one thing I like to say in sales is my favorite answer from a customer is yes, of course, I'd like to purchase, right? But no's my second favorite answer. If they at least will text you back and say, I'm not interested in coming on, I now as an agent can move on my time to someone that's maybe more prominent or useful. So having these texts, which is just the way of the world nowadays, has been super useful.
Yeah, half the battle is, and a majority of our ticket agents on the front lines battle is to connect with the fan, to either hear that yes or no. And if we hear no, of course we're going to try to overcome that objection. That's just part of the sales training that Derek and his team does a really good job at. But if it's, you know, for one reason or another that we cannot control, we're going to move on to the next, because we have, you know, so many other opportunities to connect with fans and hear that yes. So
that's great. I think it's important for those of you who aren't in Charlotte with us to realize that you don't have to be Speedway Motorsports setup or size, or even as data driven as you all are, to realize or enjoy the value of FanThreeSixty products. Because as we move on, Speedway Motorsports, you all, as we've seen, you're always selling. And that's another thing where you're not just doing it, it's not just race day. You're doing the pre and the post, you're constantly following up, you're constantly engaged. You see some of the events that you all have throughout the year. There's the Holiday Light Show.
Oh, yeah.
There's the National Hot Rod Association races.
Yep, we have dirt track events. I mean, we utilize the platform for that. We have the Super Bowl of dirt track racing here in Charlotte, which is phenomenal in itself.
The new 1010s Motor Club
Yep.
brings in a completely different audience that we've never really targeted when you think about Concourse d'Elegance type events.
Yeah, I think you hit on a good point too, just there. I mean, you know, and I don't know, we failed to mention it. We were talking about like utilizing, you know, quick campaigns and what we're ideating out of the ticket office to help create email, and it's become more efficient for us. But we're not just selling and then forgetting about that fan. The data helps us and allows us to create kind of ancillary campaigns. So if you know, NASCAR fans, it's a very affinity laden sport. They pick a driver and they love that driver, and that's all who they follow. One of the questions that we ask our fans is who their favorite driver is, because we can go down a whole nother road with them. We sometimes get driver appearances, but we sometimes get that late and we don't have that information until closer to race time. If we've already sold them the ticket, but now we have another add-on or an upsell opportunity where we can expose the fan to that, or at least share with them the information to empower them to make that decision if they want to spend their discretionary dollars with this add-on, the platform allows us to go back and get that information and strategically, using Derek's terminology, but more sniper-like, and go right after those fans that raise their hand and said, yeah, you know what, Tyler Reddick's my favorite driver, and hey, guess what, we now can get you even closer to him, and here's how. So, you know, we're upselling, we're winning back, we're retaining, we're doing it all through the platform.